The morning broke not with the sun, but with a pale light pushing through a heavy veil of mist. Dew clung to the hedgerows of spindle and hawthorn like sweat on fevered skin, and the ash trees stood as gray silhouettes, sentinels in mourning. There I stood at the edge of the kitchen garden, cradling a mug of black coffee, watching a pair of jackdaws peck at the remnants of seeds scattered on the path. In the distance, an old woman moved through the fog towards the woodland. Others joined her quietly, emerging like ghosts on the moor, men and women placing small offerings at the wood's edge. A freshly shot wood pigeon, feathers still damp with blood, a brace of rabbits, a wedge of cheddar cheese, strawberries, and a wicker basket of pink lady apples. One man laid what appeared to be a wooden carving of a fox, weather-worn but clearly treasured. At that moment I felt it, the land holding its breath. They're leaving offerings. It was James, having gotten up earlier to work on the farm before everyone else. For the redling, no doubt. Why are they feeding him? I whispered. Because some think he's still a boy. Others think he's a god. And maybe they're both right, James answered. That afternoon, the group fanned out for recon. We took turns watching the hunting lodge in the beach hangar above the village. Hidden behind gorse and brambles, Sophie and I lay flat in the grass, binoculars on the sprawling estate. There, over several yards, we got the picture of what we were dealing with. Hunting lords in their sycophants, a string quartet playing Waltz of the Flowers, champagne flutes in one hand, riding crops in the other. A bonfire crackled on in the center of the fete champantre as servants wandered, offering hors d'oeuvres. The fact these people were enjoying themselves at this meet, likely anticipating the idea of a human child being torn to shreds for some twisted ritual, sickens my stomach. Then came the man of the hour himself, the devil in velvet hunting coat, lifting his drink as the fire crackled. Lord Robert Darrow, a slender man in his 70s with silver hair, a thin hawk-like nose, and a haughty tone. The type you often see in some snobby elite club. To the old ways, he cried. To dominion. To the weird that bends the wood and blood. The crowd cheered. Snippets of conversation followed, coded, careful. He's ready now. Been seen by standing stones. Another year, another offering. Same line, always the same methods. Back at the farmhouse, Sophie paced furiously. This isn't hunting. This is fucking cult. They're really going to sacrifice a child for some folkloric bullcrap? Nick was busy tinkering with one of his radios while Tom was researching hacked documents. Me, I was watching out the window. I swore the redling was out there watching me in return. He knows we were talking about him. Sophie slammed her fist onto the table, her voice now crackling with frustration. Why hasn't the village done anything to stop this? How can y'all let this happen? Your own child is going to die. And for what? Some folkloric bullshit? James slowly looked up. Because they think we're nothing. He rose, leading to the mantel. To those bastards, we're filth. Bumpkins. Can't tell a hedgehog from a hairbrush. That's what Darrow called us once. And we believed it. Or at least we were scared enough to act like we did. Silence. I know my son's out there, James said softly. Michael probably doesn't remember who he is. Doesn't know who his father is. Just waiting for these brutes and those mangy mutts to tear him to pieces like fucking Christmas wrapping paper, and no one will do nothing about it. James takes a deep breath. That's why you lot are here. To help me put a stop to this madness. I don't give a shit at this point if I get killed, or a magical nature spirit gets pissed at us for not giving it what it wants. This needs to end. Nick finally spoke up. Then don't call the police for help or even contact the neighboring counties. James scoffed. Yeah, brilliant, mate. Hello, police. I'd like to report a fox hunting cult, kidnapping kids and sacrificing to a pagan god. Who's going to believe us? James picked something plushy from the mantelpiece. A soft fox plush. A bit tattered from old age, but holding its endearing charm. I don't care if I lose 1,000 limbs to the foxes. I don't care if I lose the farm or get hung for treason by the village. I just want my son back. He stared into the glassy eyes of the stuffed animal, and I swore I could see a stray tear. This bloody little thing. This was Michael's favorite toy. He called it Todd. Ironic, honestly. I hated foxes, yet he adored them. They were his favorite animal. The next day was full of small unease, shrines found along the tree line, bones and woven brambles, a trail camera Tom knocked over and snapped in half. Those toffee-nosed bastards, Todd murmured in frustration. We discovered a hidden clearing behind a blackberry thicket where villagers have formed a crude circle of dried flowers, candles, and charred wood in the center. Nick had a good idea what it meant. The following night, we watched the hunting lodge again. The party grew more rowdy. Music drifted over the fields, distorted by wind and fog. I caught Lord Darrell in my view once again, standing by the fire, now with a grotesque pelt of a victim of his fox hunt draped over his shoulders. He spoke again to his followers. In 2 days will the child of beasts of prey run. The land will be reminded who holds the whip. And once again, Mother Nature will kneel to her masters. We listened to the rhythm of the woodland as we sat on the porch, planning our move on the hunt. James joined with Todd cradled in his arms like a newborn baby. We need to act first, James said directly. This isn't just Michael or bloody foxes anymore, but many children to come before us. The autumn fog thickened like porridge, curling around the farmhouse like smoke. I couldn't sleep that night. I came to this village to help put an end to fox hunting, only to be dragged into a conspiracy. Once I finally succumbed to fatigue, I dreamt. I dreamt of running through the eaves and underbrush with roots like bare, knotted fists. Behind me, a pack of hellish dogs with red eyes and frothing maws snapped at my heels. Ahead, the redling at the edge of the woods, staring at me with bright amber eyes and whispering, "Would you bleed to stop them?" I snapped out of my nightmare, only to see a fox staring in my window. Once it noticed I was awake, the beast trotted back into the thickets. What does this all mean?